Hey y'all, welcome to Book Marketing Mania. I'm your host, Kim Stewart, and my mission is to help you build relationships and reach new readers by guesting on podcasts. So last week on episode 51, we talked about 7 ways to share your interviews as a podcast guest. Now let's talk about repurposing that interview into different pieces of content to serve your target readers, whether you're just now building your email list or you're long past your book release. With podcast interviews lasting 30 to 45 minutes, you'll discover there are so many incredible things you can share, and you'll be like, dang, that sounded good. I need to use that again. And that's what we're talking about today. I'm sharing 6 ways to repurpose your interview content, so let's get to it. So if you are new to repurposing content, it's simply taking one piece of content and reusing it in multiple ways. Maximize your content and save time creating new content by repurposing. You know, God calls us to serve people who are hungry for our message through podcast interviews, but it doesn't end there. You have other target readers who may need that same message, but they want to discover it and consume it in different ways. And that's the beauty of repurposing. And in John 6:12, after miraculously multiplying a small portion of food to feed 5,000, Jesus tells his disciples, gather the leftovers, let nothing be wasted. And that's what I want you to keep in mind today. Let nothing be wasted that you have created. And now for repurposing your interview content, make sure content isn't exclusive to a podcast host and that it can be repurposed for your own use. Typically, the answer is always yes, because it's your core message and you're likely sharing it in multiple places anyway. But if there is any questions, simply ask your podcast host. So here are 6 ways to repurpose your interview content. Number 1, share a quote graphic on social. Now, this is different than when you're sharing your interview like we talked about in episode 51, because now it's your own content. You might pull different quotes than the host did, right? I've mentioned before that, in a 30 to 40 minute interview, you're going to say some incredible things. And this way you can elaborate on it more. You could add some text in your caption to elaborate on your quote that you've pulled from the interview. Number 2, you could create a social video, whatever social platform you're the most active on. Take some of your favorite points from your interview and create a video either with you talking to the camera and sharing those bullet points from your interview, or you could show some behind the scenes footage. Maybe you took some video of you recording the interview with your host. You could take some, video of you reading your Bible, doing some journaling, some of the things that came to play and that you brought into your book. You could be reading your book, obviously reading another book. You could be sharing something about your personal life, especially like if you have a message for moms, show your kiddos. And if you don't want to show their faces, that's fine, but show some kind of family experience that goes along with your book. If it's for work, if you're encouraging women in the workplace, show your desk. Are you on Zoom with clients? Let your followers see that message comes to life, that message that you shared on a podcast interview. And then number 3, you could create a blog post using the content from your interview. And we often think of this when we're a podcast host and want to turn our show notes into a blog post. But Google and Pinterest love lists of information and obviously blog posts full of good keywords. So you could create one blog post from your guest interview, or you could just pull snippets from multiple interviews to create a longer blog post that Google loves, as you can use several keywords and phrases throughout it to drive traffic to your site. And if you're on Pinterest, don't forget to pin the blog post there too. And number 4, you could create an audiogram with your best quotes and share that as an audio sample when pitching prospective podcast hosts. And be super strategic here and pull a quote that makes sense for your target host audience, one that will make them say, wow, I want to hear more about that. And then number 5, you could create an email or 2 or 3 to send to your email list. Again, here, it's not that you're sharing that you were a guest, it's repurposing that amazing content into a valuable email your subscribers can consume and take action on what you shared. And so, maybe a host asked you questions in a really specific way, or asked questions about your message or your book that no one's ever asked you before. I bet some of your email subscribers might have those same questions. So give them the questions and the answers and elaborate on it in your email. Number 6, you could create a podcast episode using your content if you're a podcast host. So oftentimes with my clients, we discover that something really great they share on an interview has never even been shared on their show. So it's a great topic for an episode. Or you might just pull points from several interviews and turn that into one episode or a series on your own show. There are so many cool ways to host a podcast today, and repurposing content into episodes is a great way to start. Oh my gosh, y'all, there's so many ideas and so little time. And if you need help repurposing past interviews or want to put a proactive plan in place before you even start guesting, I'd love to chat about how I can help. Head over to bookmarketingmania.com and book your free call today. And thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned as my next episode, I'm interviewing one of my friends and favorite business coaches, Ann Watson, host of the brand new Swayology podcast, and she's sharing how we can stop shoulding on ourselves when marketing our book. It's going to be a good one, y'all. So I'll see you back here next time to help you market your book one podcast at a time.